All right, diving right back in for another deep dive. This time, we're taking a trip to Hollywood. Well, the Get Shorty version of Hollywood, that is.
A classic.
You know it. And you all clearly do too, because you sent us a whole stack on this one. A film analysis, a Wikipedia deep dive, even a little Roger Ebert. So, looks like we're getting into crime comedies, how they work, and how they really dig into the movie biz.
And Get Shorty does it brilliantly. It's sharp, it's funny, and it reveals a lot about the underbelly of Hollywood.
So for anyone who hasn't seen this masterpiece, and after this you want to, what's Get Shorty all about? What's the big deal?
Imagine Elmore Leonard's signature wit, that sharp dialogue, quirky characters, and then you throw in a hefty dose of Hollywood cynicism. It's a recipe for brilliance. The story follows Chili Palmer. He's a Miami loan shark, a tough guy, and somehow he ends up entangled in the movie business. But this isn't just some career change. It's like watching a wolf in a chicken coop in The Chickens. They think they're the ones holding all the cards.
And the analysis called this the definitive, darkly comedic crime caper, which is quite a title to earn. It really dives into how Hollywood is built on the same principles as organized crime. I'm hooked already. Tell me everything.
It's classic Elmore Leonard. His characters are morally ambiguous. They're always hustling, always working an angle, and the lines between right and wrong, they get real blurry real fast.
Sounds like Hollywood already.
Right. So in Get Shorty, we've got Chili thrown into the deep end of Hollywood. He meets Harry Zim, a struggling B-movie producer up to his eyeballs in debt to the mob. Oh, yeah. And their worlds collide in a way that exposes just how absurd it all is.
This is where it gets interesting for me. Because Chili Palmer doesn't just blend into Hollywood. He thrives.
Right.
He's like a natural. The film analysis and even that Wikipedia page you sent both talk about this. How does a loan shark from Miami just waltz into movie production like he owns the place?
It's not just charisma, though. John Travolta, who plays Chili, he definitely has that swagger down pat.
Oh, absolutely.
But Chili, he understands the art of the hustle, like instinctively. It doesn't matter if he's collecting a debt or pitching a movie. It's all the same game to him. He knows how to size people up, how to manipulate situations and spin a good story. And he learns fast in Hollywood. Just like on the streets, presentation is everything.
So he's a natural, right? He sees through all the smoke and mirrors of Hollywood because, in a way, he's been living in that world all along. It's genius.
Exactly. And what makes it even better is how the film uses those close-up shots.
Oh, tell me about the close-ups. I love that stuff.
It's like the director's giving us a peek behind the curtain,
Yeah.
We see right through those Hollywood facades and those close-ups on Chili. They show us he's not so different from the sharks he's swimming with.
So it's more than just a crime comedy. It's a commentary on Hollywood itself.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so we've got Chili, our loan shark, thrown into the lion's den of Hollywood. But he seems more comfortable than the actual lions.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, that stack you sent over had that Roger Ebert review in there, and he had that great line about Chili's career change.
Yeah.
He said, "One of the pleasures of Get Shorty is watching the way the plot moves effortlessly from crime to the movies not a long distance, since both industries are based on fear, greed, creativity, and intimidation." Man, he just nails it right, Ken.
He's right on the money. And that's exactly why a guy like Chili can thrive in Hollywood. He already knows the language, the power dynamics, reading people, figuring out what makes them tick. And honestly, those skills, way more useful in Hollywood than like knowing how to work a camera or something.
Totally.
Yeah.
The movie even makes fun of those big shop producers and how Chili's street smarts just run circles around them.
Right. It's like they're speaking two different languages. And Chili, he's fluent in both. Like that scene, the one where Chili gives acting lessons to Martin Weir?
Oh, the washed-up actor.
Yeah.
Played by Danny DeVito. So good.
Yes. Hilarious scene. But it says a lot about how Hollywood works. It's all about authenticity, or at least appearing authentic.
It's all a show.
Exactly. Yeah. And who better to teach a Hollywood big shot about putting on a show than a guy who can walk into a room and own it just by the way he carries himself?
Okay, but what about Harry Zim? He's stuck making those cheesy horror films, but the movie doesn't treat him like a joke.
No, because even though he's got flaws, Harry represents this fading Hollywood dream. He's clinging to that hope of making it big. It's almost tragic.
But in a funny way.
Yeah. And that desperation, that's what makes him both dangerous and easy to manipulate, which in Hollywood can be a dangerous combination.
So we've got Chili, our master manipulator, and Harry, our washed-up dreamer. And they're both trying to work this system that's built on smoke and mirrors. But there's one more character I want to get into, Karen Flores. She's like the jaded scream queen. What's her role in all of this?
Karen, she represents the flip side of that Hollywood dream. the disillusionment.
I've seen it all, right?
She's been used and abused by the system, so yeah, she's jaded. But you can still see that she's drawn to Chili's energy, to the fact that he's playing by his own rules.
She can spot a phony from a mile away. But there's something about Chili that she can't resist.
Exactly. And her story, it's like this tiny little flicker of hope. Like maybe, just maybe, someone like Chili can actually shake things up in Hollywood.
I love how the film doesn't shy away from showing us these characters with all their flaws and complexities. It's like we're seeing right through them. It really hits you that this movie, Get Shorty, it's not just about Chili and Harry and the whole Hollywood scene. It's about, well, us.
Yeah.
You know?
We're all in on it.
Exactly. It's about how we get sucked into all that glamour, all that illusion, and not just in the movies, in life too, right? We talked about how those close-ups, these show us the characters' true selves. But I'm wondering, do you think it's also like a message about how we watch movies in the first place, how we buy into the fantasy?
100%. Get Shorty makes you confront the fact that it's all a big illusion. You're forced to see the wizard behind the curtain.
And isn't it interesting how Barry Sonnenfeld, the director, he comes from those like super stylized, darkly comedic movies like The Addams Family. So you've got that same playfulness in Get Shorty, that same visual wit. But underneath it all, there are some pretty sharp edges.
Exactly. He knows how to make you laugh and then make you think twice about what you're laughing at. Those close-ups are like, hey, pay attention. This is how the sausage is made.
Oh, I like that. So those close-ups, it's not just observing, it's like being invited to question everything, look beyond the surface.
Right, and that's so important, not just with movies, with everything. Media, news, the works. Get Shorty reminds us that every story we see, every image, it's designed to make us feel a certain way.
We're being played.
In a way, yeah. But the more aware we are of that, the more we can be like critical viewers.
Which takes us back to that whole Hollywood organized crime connection. Both are built on the same stuff. Storytelling, image, persuasion. So is Get Shorty saying that we're all like marks, that we're all getting played?
That's the big question the film leaves you with. And I don't think it's trying to be cynical, just, real. We love a good story. We're drawn to those big personalities, to people who seem larger than life.
That's the whole point of Hollywood, right?
Right. But that also makes us vulnerable to the people who know how to use that to their advantage. I mean, think about it. Are they really so different? The studio exec selling you a movie, the guy selling you a car, the politician selling you an idea.
It's all connected. Okay, so next time I'm watching a movie, especially one of those trailers, I'm going to be looking for those close-ups, those little hints that give it all away.
That's what makes a movie great, though, right? It sticks with you. It changes how you see things.
Even if it's just a silly comedy about Hollywood. And Get Shorty, it's anything but silly. It's a funhouse mirror, reflecting back this crazy, messed up, but totally captivating world. And ourselves right along with it. So listeners, if you're ready for a wild ride, a movie that'll make you laugh and think Get Shorty is the one. And pay close attention to those close-ups. You never know what you might see. Until next time, keep diving deep.